From all of us here at the Vodkast to all of you out there in YouTube land, what do we tell them, Mom?
I'll suck your dick for...
Not that thing. Happy Halloween, everybody. Enjoy responsibly. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little spark. Somebody says something and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's right. I've got this going on right now.
Exactly.
You know what's coming up, though? One of our favorite holidays, one of my favorite holidays. Not my favorite holiday, but one of them is Halloween.
Oh, really? Is it this month?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
The season of the witch?
I'll get my Halloween lighting going.
Oh. You look like a zombie.
Yeah, that's my day to day.
Zombie life.
Yeah.
It's just how I normally look. It's my pallor.
I don't get out much. Minimal exercise.
I heard it was cold down in Florida today. We didn't get up to 60 degrees. We only got to 58 today.
It was chilly here, but I don't know.
I kind of welcome it after a hot summer, though. Like, I'm really excited about the fall and Halloween and Thanksgiving. It's like it seems like the older you get from Halloween, or at least having kids. I don't know about you guys, but from Halloween until like my birthday is a blur. It's just like zip. Actually, now Griffin's birthday, because that's on the 5th of March. So like it's one thing after another so quickly that your mind's processing that like before you realize it, it's gone. Like I lose 6 months every year like that.
I like jacket weather.
Yeah, sweater weather, jacket weather. Yeah. Going for walks, looking at the leaves. Carol and I walked up to go meet Griffin today at his bus stop. He's been doing cross country, which I like a lot better than track, because track is so like, all right, this event's happening, this event's happening, this event's happening. But with cross country, boys go, girls go, done, home. You're out of there. And they're running through the woods rather than running on a course over and over again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did I just over-explain cross country?
Yep. Way to Jay-splain that.
You Jay-splained it.
Yeah, I can't play with notes.
You can't play with no notes. That's why I don't use notes. That's why I'm off the cuff. Let me see. Let me start this episode off. Here, hang on a second. Let me think. I'm going to go fresh. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Vodkast and Friends. I'm your host as always. Jason Oliveira. With us tonight is my good friend Artie, my good friend Corey, lifelong friends. And we're going to talk about Halloween and memories of Halloween and horror and how it's integrated into our lives and how much we love horror and how much, we consume horror from our, day-to-day life. So what's going on, gentlemen?
Nothing.
Well,
It's the season. Tis the season.
The witching season.
True.
Isn't that what you said? What do you call it?
It's Halloween, season of the witch.
Season of the witch.
Halloween 3.
You going to go to Salem?
No, Salem sucks. Salem is it's Plymouth, but with black instead of brown.
Plymouth with witches.
It's Plymouth with witches.
Plymouth for goths.
Yeah, man.
I've only been to Salem once, and that was that one time to play with Lunch Meat Circus, and we played with Incubus at the Rocktoberfest for WBCN, and we were supposed to play the day before, and we showed up so late that they're like, you can't go on now. And then Jeannie stepped up and like got us a slot on the next day, the opening act, and like no one was there, but that stage was crazy. That's my only experience with Salem. I never went there to like do the whole tourist thing.
I've been there twice. You would think I'd been there more, living as close as I do. It's like, I don't know, an hour away, and it's just not worth the ride to me. The best thing there is the Harry Potter store. I think I've said it before. Probably my favorite thing is the Harry Potter store.
Yeah, and if you don't like Harry Potter, then there's no sense in going to Salem then.
Nope.
Yeah, that defeats the purpose totally.
Artie, do you ever go up to Salem, or have you done any like fairs or festivals there?
Yeah, I've done a fair or two, and yeah, I've been up there maybe a handful of times, but it's like Corey. It's like it's not really high on my need to visit. But last time I went there, we went to this Church of Satan, a satanic church.
Nice.
It was pretty wild there. They have like a
Nice.
shrine with the
A
you
big
know,
Baphomet.
yeah, it's like a life-size Baphomet. You can pose and take
Nice.
pictures with them and stuff. They have a parapet in the whole church and like ornate chairs, and they just open it up for people to like walk through. And
They should open up for people to play Dungeons and Dragons there.
oh yeah,
Just because people are into the Dark Lord doesn't mean they're into D&D.
It's almost like a
oh
reverse thing, like back in the day, D&D led you
It's
to.
it's probably they probably do, but
yeah.
All the
Back in
cool.
the '80s, there were a lot of people who felt that way.
Yeah,
oh for
yeah.
sure.
What was the movie with Tom Hanks?
Wizards and Warlocks or something like that. Mazes and Monsters.
The Satanic Panic and D&D was part of it.
Yeah, magic, vampires. Let's get to. Did you ever go as a vampire for Halloween?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
I don't remember. It's funny, like you guys know, I never used to dress up and go to the parties at 221 or anything like that. And it was never intentional, but like I've never been into it. And I wonder if it has something to do with like my childhood because like I don't remember any of my costumes really. There was the Darth Vader one, which I was bummed out that year because the weather was so cold that basically it was me just in winter garb with that shitty plastic mask on. And I wonder if that just ruined Halloween for me or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Like I've had many Halloweens that same thing. Like I where I was what the fuck was his name from GI Joe? He was a Marine. I can't think of his
Oh,
fucking
Gung Ho?
gung ho. I was gung ho for Halloween. My mother made the costume, and I wanted to be bare chest and have the Marine logo painted on my chest. And my mother would not allow it. She was just like, no. And like I remember walking around and like I looked like a dude in an army cap
Yeah.
because I had a winter coat on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what people probably don't understand who don't live in like cold environments in the Northeast or, the Northwest or anywhere along Canada's line is that like when you go out, you could come up with the coolest costume in the world, but if you're really going trick or treating, you're bundling up. There's no way you're going out there comfortably in your costume unless you're just balls to the walls crazy. But Artie is the master of costumes.
Oh, I try. Well, thank you.
I remember seeing all the photographs every Halloween from the Halloween parties as they come in.
Oh,
I'd be
so
like,
good.
outdoing himself year after year, and just like wondering like why is he not doing special effects for Hollywood right now? Because like that costume is insane. Like it's better than like stuff you see in like B-rate movies, like the horror movies. You're like, why don't they hire someone like Artie, or at least like let him conceptualize shit? He's like incredibly talented in so many ways, including making crazy Halloween costumes.
Oh, I thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a passion for many years. I used to make those costumes out of it would be like dog biscuit boxes or
Yeah, I was just gonna say I remember specifically cat food boxes and spray foam. There was one
yeah,
mask
spray
in
foam.
particular when you were building it and you were showing me and you could just see like the cat food boxes, and it was because it was the thinner cardboard that you could sort of
Well,
mold around and
pliable. Yeah.
spray for so much spray foam.
Yeah,
So
and then I
much.
could sculpt it and
Yeah.
Mhm.
paint it. Oh, I learned the hard way when you spray paint on spray foam, it melts like styrofoam.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those like a few of Artie's costumes. It was the like big ones. I remember the werewolf.
Oh
Mhm.
yes.
Werewolf was incredible.
What was the crazy arm one?
It was like
That was
Resident Evil.
yeah, it was just some wild I was like freestyling it and starting to mess with spray foam and I was blown away with how much like detail and texture you could get in it. I just started creating this. It was like a cross between something out of The Thing and Resident Evil. And I wore a winter coat, so it was more of like a Thing vibe. and I just had some blood splattered on my face, like a head wound.
Yeah, like
Uh,
it was blowing out of your arm. Yeah,
yeah, that night was crazy for sure. That night goes on for quite a while for me. But
cops showing up.
hmm
Another life, another time.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, and then what was the? You had another. Fuck was it? It was just a creature. I like. It was a big headpiece.
Yeah, it looked like the skull of a creature almost in a way.
It was one that like it was like a mutated sort of head. Am I remembering correctly?
Almost like a Skeksis.
It was like reptilian. Yeah, it had big. It was just like a big mouth with teeth,
That's what
like
it
a
was.
lizard.
Yeah,
I had
it was super
LEDs in the
flesh
eye
tone.
sockets.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that
I think
thing.
I, I think the flesh tone is the thing that made it the most creepy to me was that it wasn't like it was pretty human flesh tone, and it was just like, oh, that makes it
Yeah, that much.
really unsettling and
Yep.
gross.
Yeah, like a body horror type of
Yeah.
monster.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the thing, in case you can't tell. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. We watched it with the boys for the first time last year. We try to do the October thing where we watch horror. This month though, I've been watching The Walking Dead with them. But is there any like horror that you remember? The Thing is definitely up there for me. That is
Mm.
so like terrifying to you the first time around, or gross to you, or like something you just cannot watch again. Is there a movie like that you've seen that like there's nope, I'm all set?
One and done ones? Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a few, quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got mail.
Oh,
Um,
is that the one with Billy Crystal?
when
I was
Harry
thinking,
met Sally, the most
yeah,
horrifying movies.
I did not know that was a
uh,
horror movie.
Mrs. Doubtfire. I watched that again recently, and I'm positive that that was a horror movie. They just kind of marketed it a little differently. Watch it again, and with the mindset that it's a horror movie, and Robin Williams is like out of his mind. The
Yeah.
Human Centipede. Have you guys seen that one?
I've never seen.
I've never seen it.
It's definitely a one and
I
done.
could tell you. I've seen some pictures, some stills. I could probably describe the entire movie to you, and I've never seen it. I've just heard people talk about it so many times.
It was huge when it came
Yeah, like
out.
it was a big buzz around it.
Oh, for sure. I just didn't let that buzz get to me.
Yeah, see Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
No, it just Harry Potter did that. The
Oh
buzz,
yeah.
it turned it off for
Well, it
me.
reminded me. Remember back in the day with VHS and stuff when like Jurassic Park would come on
Oh
VHS and it'd be
yeah.
like 7,000 copies in like every grocery store,
Yeah.
everywhere. Just any store would have copies for sale of the newest
Uh-huh.
movie that came out, and everyone would be talking about
Hmm.
it, and it'd be like it's very similar to that.
When
Yeah.
I was young, I remember like I've only ever seen them once, and I've probably seen three or four of the God, I think there's probably 13 or 14 of them, God knows. Like they scarred me forever as Faces of Death.
Oh
Oh
And
yeah,
reading
yeah.
into it now, like I've read into it, like they've debunked
A lot of it.
99% of the
Yeah.
shit in those.
It makes me feel better.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
You wouldn't go back and watch them again.
Never, never in a million years would I go back and watch those again.
There, for me, there was the Hills Have Eyes remake. The whole rape scene, like that, like was so disturbing to me that I was like, I loved it up until then, and I was just like, oh,
Oh,
I feel gross right
I didn't know
now.
we were going there. Like, yeah, that's really bad. I really like that movie. I think that movie is incredible. But
Recent remakes, that was really good. I was really impressed with that, and it was super brutal and heavy as fuck.
And it reminded me of things like I remember when I was a kid, I used to go stay with my cousins down in Middletown, Rhode Island for like a week or two
and
in
you
the
guys
summer,
would fuck.
and they, oh, that too, but yeah, no,
You
we
play Hills Have Eyes.
we actually, oddly enough, we played Days of Our
and
Lives.
you were Bo.
There's another. No, I was Steve. Now, I don't like to cut into these Vodcast and Friends episode after they've already been filmed. However, I owe Corey an apology. I need to learn to rely on his wisdom more and his knowledge and his memories because mine are fading terribly fast. Anywho, he was right. I was Bo and my cousin was Stefano. It wasn't Steve. Steve wouldn't come along for a lot later. Steve, they called him Patch. He had an eye patch. Anywho, Bo and him got into a fight when they were younger over a gal. And just watch 60 years of Days of Our Lives and that should catch you up. Anyway, I apologize, Corey. Back to the fellas. And my cousin Larry was Stefano, and I pretend to punch him. We were at this abandoned house on a deck. It was a second-story deck. I pretend to punch him, and the deck, like the railing gave way, and he fell, and he lost his breath. Oh. And I'd never seen anybody have their breath knocked out before. I was like, I just killed my cousin.
He thought he was going to die.
I remember that moment. Down there, when I would go stay with them, they would watch, like, I remember watching Phantasm and I Spit on Your Grave and all those like early classic kids kind of horror.
Some kids had free reign at a younger age on horror movies. I wasn't one of those kids. Like, my parents watched a lot and they would let us sit and watch some of it, but there was quite a bit that we weren't like, I saw at sleepovers, at birthday parties, shit like that.
Yeah, when cable came out, it got big. Like, you'd stay up after everyone passed out and see what horror movies they would play overnight, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, USA Up All Night might have a horror weekend.
Yeah.
I had a copy of Jaws that my mother filmed off of that, I believe, that had like some scenes that like haven't been included in anything until recently. I think they just, with the latest edition, they may have added it back in.
And I remember watching it because your mother was very good at when she...
Look, Corey, I'm on your face. All your dreams have finally come true.
She could edit some stuff, like she tried to take the commercials out, but that one, none of the commercials were taken out. And they were old as shit.
I wish I could watch those commercials now.
Isn't it wild how you remember watching those commercials like thousands of times in a row? But then if you watch an old tape where the commercials were recorded, they're completely foreign to you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that almost like a Mandela effect, where it's just like you remember it one way, but it really wasn't. Jiffy.
Yeah, unless it's like, there'll be those odd ones that are really in your memory, like a Star Wars toy ad or something.
Did you? All right. So did anybody else go as a Star Wars character growing up?
I don't think I ever did any Star Wars. I like ever. I don't know if I've ever done a Star Wars character. Me
either. I was always budget friendly. Like, I could never buy the costumes that were in the bag and stuff. I'd have to make my own, like, make up horror characters or something.
No, not even in like those vinyl costumes with the elastic mask. Like, not even
it's like
then.
A trash bag, or it's like a plastic bag.
Vinnie Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter, and it's got a picture of all the sweat hogs on the front of it. It's like,
it makes no sense. Yeah,
like, dude, this isn't how Vinnie Barbarino looks.
And you get that basic beige mask with the black hair.
Yeah, and black hair. It's just a white guy mask.
Those never fit me because my head's way too big, so they would like cut into my ears and my eyes and stuff.
They'd be all wet with moisture all inside it from walking around breathing into it on a cold night. Breaking the elastic. My mother getting mad because I broke the elastic again.
Well, now you're that guy with just no mask.
Yeah. I was at least 4 years, I was Freddy Krueger. A friend of mine gave me a mask, the hat, and the glove that they had one Halloween, and it was just in their room. They're like, you can have it if you want. And it, like, I've got a big head, and the mask just kind of fit my head perfectly. There was no room in it. It was stretched on. And like I think I would wear like a fucking whatever sweater, but I was Freddy Krueger from like 89 to 93.
Nice.
it's not a bad one to have to repeat, I'd have to say, because it's usually not too bad with the sweater and stuff. The quality of things usually kind of lend themselves to
and
the
I would
costume.
like, that's the other thing about that, like the glove, the mask, and the hat. I would wear it all the time. Like during the year, I'd be like, oh, there's my Freddy mask, and I'd put that on, and I'd just be in the middle of summer wearing a Freddy Krueger mask.
looking out the window and stuff.
Just out in the backyard in some Jenner shorts and in a Freddy Krueger mask.
All sunburned.
Did you ever get involved in any hijinks on Halloween's, eggings or toilet paper or anything like that?
No, not really. That wasn't like really a thing I did. My brother did that sort of shit, but not me. And they didn't really go egging. You know, like they did. They would go in the graveyard near your house and egg cars that were going by.
That's a good place to do it.
From inside the graveyard, they'd be hiding and you couldn't see anybody in there, and they would just hum eggs.
No.
Up Cohannet Street or whatever the street was behind it.
That was a great hangout spot. That graveyard.
It was a good graveyard.
Yeah, it sure was. I wish I could remember. There's a name for it. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but there is a name for it.
Yeah, I used to almost live at its gate for a while.
Yeah, we have a lot of pictures. Actually, it's really funny you bring that up, because I found pictures today I haven't seen in years of the two of us on top of the mausoleum, like looking down, and Jen's taking pictures up, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that now. I would go nowhere near the edge of that thing now. I'd be like, nope, I'm gonna fall and die.
Get your breath knocked out like your cousin. Just lay there gasping.
A little off topic, but do you see what this is?
Kind of. It looks like battery. Oh, film.
It's 5 rolls of film.
Ooh.
That I found in a box with all the game stuff.
Oh, nice.
So I have no idea what's on these, and I'm gonna bring them to CVS and just have them.
They still have a photo lab.
CVS or Walmart, they send them out, but I'm just gonna have them made digital, just because I have no idea what's on them. No idea if Nicole took the pictures or if I took the pictures. I can't wait to see them.
That's exciting. That's treasure. Yeah. That's a mystery.
Totally.
It means a lot to me. I don't know if you guys have that same nostalgia when you see something that long ago that you never thought you'd see.
Oh,
again.
Yeah. Like I like the memories. It was great. Like there was a lot of pictures.
I feel very uncomfortable seeing them. The pictures aren't so bad, but when it's videos, I'm like, it's definitely cool to see those old pictures, and it reminds you of what you were doing and stuff. The good old times playing Dreamcast, and we had touched on it earlier, but Resident Evil, the original.
Oof.
Oh,
that game.
Oof.
Was that the game we were thinking? I'm
pretty sure. I have this memory of looking over, like sitting in that chair where you'd sit sideways on it. You wouldn't sit normally, so you could face the TV. You know, like drape your legs.
And it was probably dog piss on it.
That was probably human piss on it too.
Guaranteed there was a ton of fucking dog piss on it. That fucking dog pissed on everything.
But I remember looking over at you, and you had this look of horror on your face. It was basically, that look was how I felt as well, and I'm pretty sure it was the first Resident Evil.
It was either the dogs, the hellhounds, when you walk down the hall, like you said, you can hear something, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And then it's smashed, they come through the windows. Or it's the moment where you open that door and the first zombie turns around and looks at you. Yeah. It might have been that moment too, because both of those are so like ingrained. Like I could watch those videos and remember that moment, that night.
And there's a few segments where the camera, it was a fixed camera. So you'd walk into a room and the camera would be focused on your character, but you can hear like the wet noises of something gambling. And you're like, where the heck is it?
And you only got so many bullets, and you have like 3 rooms back to get back to your like storage locker thing.
You had your knife, but that thing was useless.
that as far as video games go, that's probably, I mean, I didn't play a lot of horror video games, but that to me, that moment, I'll never forget just playing Resident Evil, like right as it came out.
Oh, yeah.
Gary was working at GameStop.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
It was
No,
EB.
Electronic Boutique.
Was it
EB.
EB, yeah. And he would just, take games and then just bring them back and reseal them the next day. And so he brought it home, and like, I think Brian was there. I'm sure Corey was there. You were there. Brad was most likely there. And we decided to turn the lights off and play it. And I just remember those few times and just having a chill and being like, wow, I've never experienced this from a video game.
I've never been overly into the horror games, including the Resident Evil games. And I don't know why, because I like that stuff, but like, yeah, I've never really been into them.
The controls were shite back then, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
Probably another big part of it is I don't like being startled.
Yeah.
I don't want to like be. It's not fun to me to be startled, or to like jump scares aren't fun to me. So
then that's not for you. Yeah, that's what those games are, and they do it so well. Like they space them out, and you don't see them coming, and the frogs and the shark, and like so many events in that game where you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Even the ones that don't startle you, they did such a great job at scaring you into being like, I don't want to go in there. Nope.
The one heart attack moment is it's like a cabin type of room. You walk in, it's quiet. You take like 3 steps forward, and this huge spider just drops down from the ceiling and lands right on you. That was like a heart attack inducing moment.
I know our friend Jess, who couldn't be here tonight, she loves the Silent Hill series. I never played. I watched, I think Brad play some of it, but not enough to like get into it. And like, I've always wondered if that's a series I should go back and like play a remastered copy of or not.
What game?
Silent Hill.
There's a ton of like video essays on it and stuff that are really informative, and it's basically like playing the game. If you don't have to like play it per se, they'll like talk about the history, and it's a great series. It's like legendary, like psychological horror and stuff, and like real horror.
I've definitely played one of those, probably like the first one, and it probably scared the shit out of me. That was a game full of jump scares.
There was that radio.
That was the one with the guy with he's got like the pyramid head. Is that what he's called?
Pyramid head. He doesn't come till later on in the games, right? He's not from the first one.
Yeah, he's
from the first one.
Now you got me doubting. I want to say yeah.
Go ahead, I'll let you.
All right, yeah. That was easy.
It is decided that yes will be the final decision.
What was the first horror movie you remember watching? The first one that like, is it like super like clear to you? Like you can recall, like not just I saw a little bit of this, but like the first one you were cognitive of.
It traumatized me. It definitely really was brutal. I remember it was on TV too. It was like a TV movie, and I was like psyched. It was coming on.
Well, what was it?
Poltergeist, the first Poltergeist.
Dude.
I wanted to run away like towards the end when all the horror like restarts. Like everything seems like it's okay. You did it, and then this stuff comes back. I was like, when the clown grabbed Robbie and dragged him under the bed, I was like, Pete, I'm like, it's over.
Same.
I will say that I saw it in the theater because I saw it with my mother and father. Wow. So that means I was
7 or 8,
or maybe
it came out in 1982 I believe, in theaters.
Yeah, my dad died in 82, so it had to have been, that year. So I was probably 7.
Wow.
Dude, that whole scene that like within the kid's room in the tree, dude, I was scared of trees. I was scared of fucking trees because of that movie. Yeah, like legit, like that was the first one. I was probably watching it that same night on television as you, scared shitless with my parents, just being like, what the?
Thinking you have to go up those stairs and go to bed at night all by yourself and shut the door. And
it cured me of being not afraid of what's under my bed, for sure, when the lights are out.
What's the scariest thing that you can't explain that's ever happened to you?
That's a great question. I have a bunch. I know what you're talking about, but I have to put one into context.
For me, and it's weird, it's super weird. It was at your house, Jay. I walked our friend Jen out to her car, and as I was coming back up, I came back in the house and I was walking up the stairs, which was probably like 13, 14 stairs to a landing and then a turn. And I think it was like 3 or 4 stairs to the door. I felt like something was rushing up behind me and then covered me, like as I was running up the stairs, and I was frozen on the landing and then broke free and then, ran the 3 stairs up and then into your apartment. And I've still never been able, like, I have no idea what that could have been.
Wow. I have a one through street supernatural tale as well. I was in the hallway that led to the kitchen, the main hall with the chill room and stuff.
Yep.
I was walking down that hall going towards the kitchen, and it felt like someone was walking up behind me. So I went to turn to see who it was, and it was like a blue figure came like barreling towards me and like collided with me. I was like, whoa.
Oh my God.
Whoa, shit.
I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
I never told you that? I must have.
I don't know. You probably
It was just goo.
I'm old now.
Yeah.
I'm always a doubter these days. Like, I doubt anything. I'm like, nah, it's probably nothing. You know what I mean? But sometimes there's those moments where you're walking down the hall or you're in the basement at night just checking on the laundry, and you get that feeling and you're like, it's just not right. Something ain't right in that moment. And I've had a few of those here, but very, very few. Like, nothing compared to when I lived in Massachusetts. Oddly enough, the freakiest thing that ever happened to me was not in my own house, which was known, as you guys can attest to, for being a location of some kind of spiritual experiences or whatever you want to call them. We were at Bob Johnson's house, and we were staying over at the lake, and we got freaked out because we were hearing what we thought were people being murdered, which was probably coyotes. And so we went back over to his house, and we went inside, and I was in the living room, and I came back into the kitchen where everybody was hanging out and talking. But as I came out of the living room, I looked to my right, and this little shadow, probably about 9 to 12 inches tall, like kind of like basically what you see on a bathroom door or something, like indicating man or female. It was like a male stick figure in shadow form. It stopped when it realized that I saw it, and somehow I knew that it looked at me, because there was no eyes or anything. It was just black. And I could hear this laughter in my head, and it ran off, and that was it.
That was a Zuni Tiki doll.
I don't know if it could have been exhaustion. It could have been just over imagination, but that is the one time that I would swear on anything that's how I remember it happening, and just being so freaked out by it.
I thought of the same thing. Sorry. The Zuni fetish from Trilogy of Terror.
Oh, Jesus, that thing ruined me. That was a VHS, though. That was a rental.
Yeah.
When she hides in the room and she peeks under the door sill to see, and he's just right there, like watching right at the through the crack. That just gives me chills still.
Yeah, it was like a relentless fear that never gave up watching that part of Trilogy of Terror. Like, just there was no moment of like comfort where you could just rest and breathe for a moment. It was just constantly like, just where is it? When is it coming again? Oh, there it is. It's right
Yeah.
there. It's literally like,
It was great. It's just her apartment. Like she was just trapped in a little place. You know?
No, it's funny about the trilogy of terror. I couldn't tell you what the other two parts of the trilogy are about.
I totally agree. I try to think of them. I have no recollection of them. The Zuni story just totally blows them out of the water, like 100%.
I was just sitting here going, what are the other two stories?
Maybe a zombie or something. Something coming out of a grave, like a crypt or something.
Like I always loved all of those like the anthology movies. They were so good. Creep Show.
oh yeah, both of the Creep shows were
Creep
fantastic.
Shows was so good.
Have you guys tried out the new Creep Show?
The new Creep Show.
It's on Shudder.
Wait a minute. Was this?
Gotta.
It was also on AMC. Was there one with a dollhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the whole first season. I really liked it. Yeah, it was Judith from The Walking Dead is in that episode with the dollhouse.
Oh, no shit.
She's like
that episode was chilling, where she finds this little decapitated head. It's like a decapitated head. She finds it in her dollhouse. It's a little head.
It's a tiny, like, real head.
Yeah.
That's creepy as fuck.
I watched the first season of that. It was all really good.
She finds it's like in the kitchen or something. She sees it in her little dollhouse kitchen. And then she goes and looks, and like she's playing, so she looks upstairs at her figures, and she's like, "There's something in the kitchen." And then she goes and looks back, and it's gone, and it's like moved to a different room. And then her little family starts getting murdered, like one by one. I highly recommend it. The show is good. It's creepy for sure. It's definitely
it's is it like Greg Nicotero?
Yeah, I think he's involved.
Yeah, I think like he's like one of like the main directors and producer of the show. So
I love everything you did on The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's like it's to me the name Nicotero means quality.
Oh, he's a legendary. He was a legend at special effects before he started.
Oh yeah,
directing a lot. He was like a king effects guy. So I totally agree. Like it's like a seal of quality. You know the effects are going to be great. Have you guys seen this one? The Burning.
No.
It's an 80s classic. It's often overlooked. It's pretty great. It's a slasher, and Savini did the effects in it.
Nice.
And they shot the movie over like a course of a weekend or something. It was really ramshackle.
I love that.
He rented there's a bunch of special features on this that are awesome. I love those like director's
sure. Yeah.
Stuff. He had used they rented a hotel room, and I remember he was saying he was cooking the latex masks in the oven. That was at the hotel.
Did you hear this week that Best Buy has decided they're not going to carry physical media anymore? No more Blu-ray and DVDs.
That's so sad just to see that digital media is taking over.
Going the way of the dodo, man. And at some point, like something could potentially happen where you lose an account and you lose all of that stuff.
All your digital content.
Whereas if you have a hard copy, dude, I got to get rid of all my DVDs and Blu-rays.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I have a really strange, I don't know if you guys know the street or not. I don't know what the street is, but it's in Taunton. It was my 8th grade year. I was 88, I think. And I was leaving Cohannut, and I was going with my cousins for the first time to go trick-or-treating, and like by ourselves, because my cousin Ron and Melissa could drive now. So we went and did a bunch of trick-or-treating, but then Ron told us about this road. It's a dead end, and there's a single street light at the end of the road, and there's a tree there where there are dolls hung from the tree. And sometimes you go down there and the light will just shut off. Sometimes it stays on. And we went down there that night. The light was on. We saw it. We started to get out of the car, and then we saw people like just around, and we were like, well, we got back in the cars and left. But Have you ever heard anything about that street? Have you ever been there?
Nope.
It sounds really familiar, but no.
The only time I've ever heard about that is when you've talked about it like one other time. I've never, ever, I don't know anybody else that's ever brought that up.
I'll have to ask my cousin Melissa. Maybe she'll remember. I mean,
Hallucinating again.
Do you remember like the first horror movie you saw at like a sleepover or at a party or something? Because I do.
Oh, like in a group?
Yeah, like something you hadn't seen that like everybody was talking about and they were like, yeah, we're going to watch it. I remember it like being at this party and it was Friday the 13th part. I want to say it was 3. I think it's the first time he picks up somebody in a sleeping bag and wraps them around a tree.
Oh, that's part 7.
Is that part
killed.
7? Really?
yeah, he doesn't do that for a while. That's classic, though.
I remember seeing that in middle school in like 8th grade.
It came out, I think, 87, 86. 87, I think it came out.
Okay, so yeah, so it was like for me 90 when I saw it. Yeah, I remember seeing it and just being like, what the fuck is this? Like I was scared. This dude is horrifying.
That one blew me away. Kane Hodder's performance in that one sealed I became a fan of Jason in the Friday the 13th series after that one, for sure. It was like, that might have been the first one I saw too. And it was in like a sleepover situation.
For me, it was a Halloween party. I'm like, it's all hitting me right now. It was off Cohannet Street down towards the bird sanctuary. I'm picturing the whole thing right now is so weird. And just watching it and being like, oh my God, dude, like just picks up the end of that sleeping bag and just wraps it around that tree.
And then he does it again in the space.
Yep.
10,
he
right?
does. It's a good callback.
And he's going to town too on that one. He's just like, wham, wham.
That movie's not great.
That's why I've always loved Jason, because he doesn't have to say a word, and he is just such a character, like within himself. Like he's created like Kane Hodder specifically and the writers. Freddy has everything in the world to say. Chucky has a million words to say, but Jason doesn't have to say anything. Michael doesn't have to say anything. You know, they just do their thing, and it's a different kind of, I guess, slasher or whatever.
There, to me, is like the scariest of that class of the Freddy, the Jason, like the Michael. Like, to me, Michael Myers is the scariest. It was always, to me, the scariest when I was a kid, because he's not a super powered monster. He's just a person that's got some brain issues, and he's a little bit cuckoo. Now, like I'm just like, was like he just had like Asperger's or something.
yeah, that could be somebody like just wandering around, you know.
But yeah, no, he scared me the most because like he could be real, and we live so close to Taunton State. Freaked me the fuck out. Like those movies really, like I was not a fan of the Halloween movies. Like I like them now, but they said like I wasn't a fan because they scared me down, because Michael Myers physically scared me very, very badly.
The first Halloween movie I saw was Halloween 3, oddly enough, which is so like different
Season of the
from
Witch.
all the other ones. But I remember that scared the hell out of me with the mask and them trying to stop it before, the commercial aired, and like being so freaked out by that. It was,
what is it?
I don't know what it was.
Silver Clover?
Silver Shamrock. 3 more days till Halloween.
Yeah,
Halloween,
I remember
Silver Shamrock.
They were playing that on television, and I was like, oh, a fucking Halloween movie. And I was like, I kept being like, yeah, what the, where is he? I'm like, okay, got this guy that was like creeping around a warehouse.
Doesn't he show up in he shows up in like a news scene or something?
Yeah, I think there's a little cameo of him. something like that as a news broadcast, or
But that was supposed to be the deal with Halloween as it was. Like, it was not supposed to be the Michael Myers show. It was supposed to be like a anthology series, like a Halloween anthology series. And they would try to get back to it with 3, and everybody was like, what was that?
it killed the franchise for years. Did you know that they carted trash bags full of leaves around? Because the exteriors were shot in like the summer or something. There was no leaves on the ground. It's all palm trees or something. So they just had to like
and they had to keep picking them up.
Yeah.
They'd put them down. They'd have to gather them all up.
You were saying John Carpenter as I was leaving the room, and it reminded me of the thing. And the first time I saw that was in a drive-in in Rhode Island somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
That must have been a mind melter. I remember.
Yeah, I was little.
I knew the movie existed. I would go and look at the case in the video stores and stuff, and imagining what it was like. I had star logs that would have interviews with them and stuff. I was so nervous, like imagining what, like when you know that you want to see the movie, but you can't necessarily, or maybe you're afraid to because it looks really scary or gross. Try to imagine what it's going to be like, The anticipation is brutal.
I just remembered another one that probably scared me to my core for a long time. And it's, I remember my uncle and his girlfriend lived upstairs from us in the apartment building we were in. It was coming on, so we went up to watch it. It was Aliens. I hadn't seen Alien before that. Aliens scaring me fucking senseless. Dude, that movie, the mood of that movie, and we watched it in the dark, and like, it was scary as fuck. There was a lot of jumps in that movie.
When they first enter the base and it's all deserted and they're like exploring and the motion tracker, how it would start beeping and stuff. It was horrifying for sure. Heavy stuff.
Like, I love when people will call that movie sci-fi. I'm like, no, it's got sci-fi elements, but that's a horror movie.
The first one, that just fear of being trapped in a craft with a creature. You've only got so many places to go, and like that's just the enclosure of it was really terrifying.
That first one was another one of my movies where it was like one of my favorites of all time. But
when I eventually saw it, because I saw it years after I saw Aliens, it's a way, way brighter movie than Aliens. Like, there's a lot of whites in like the uniforms and the walls, and like it's super bright. Where Aliens is very dark and mechanical looking, and it's like it's grainy. That's another thing that I like. Kind of like, horror movies tend to be the only movies that are still doing it. Is like having like a film grain to the movies, because it does add something to it.
Yeah.
Like not being so high def. I think like high def in horror is like it's too much.
I'm gonna add film grain to this.
Oh, very nice. Make it look like a VHS tape. Add the scan lines and stuff.
Yeah.
Put the tracking lines at the bottom so it looks like it's going out of whack.
Well, that's Halloween. That's Halloween for you, folks.
I've been into it a bit more this year, watching scary movies and stuff. Like I watched the first part of It the other day.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, the new one, which I love. I love both of them. But
I greatly enjoyed it.
So that's Halloween for you. That's part one. I'm sure as the years continue, we'll do more episodes of this, probably as the months continue. Oh, that camera just died. Anywho, thank you guys for coming on tonight and talking about horror. I'm sure you guys have a busy life, and I know it's tough to make these, so I appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Bye from space.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.